So the moral of the story is that sometimes a hunting scope, they're built for a similar kind of ruggedness that a guy is going to use in any kind of field condition. This LH series light hunter is a 30 millimeter main tube. It's got lower mass. It's quite a bit lighter. It's a bit more compact than the SH series. And because of our turret caps, that feature right there saved our butts. Hey guys, Rex here. So I had a friend reach out to me this morning via email asking my opinion on rugged options for actual snipers in combat. He has currently been deployed the last 2 years in heavy combat in an urban area with a lot of concrete and a lot of bombed out buildings, and they deploy from a lot of weird positions, and sometimes they drop their rifles, slam them into stuff, and they have been breaking every single piece of equipment, particularly in the realm of optics that they've had. And so this is going to be a different discussion. I'm going to conduct a field test on an option I think might potentially be a solution from a certain angle. And you guys bear with me. This is specifically addressing that question that came in. If you guys have questions, of course, you can sign up for the RX classroom, and you have full access to questions and answers regarding pointy objects within my sphere of expertise, okay? There's a lot of fields that I have to subcontract out to my mentors in other areas, particularly when it comes to some of the details of, like when you get into the specifics of combat operations. However, when it comes to the equipment and heavy use, I think I can duplicate some of the situations that could happen with optics. And so from my collective experience, just doing classes and just being a guy who hunts and just being a guy who's in the field and using optics on rifles for a number of different applications, dismounting and getting back in the car, knocking them around, dropping them myself, I've broken a number of different optics over the years on rifles, and it's been absolutely something that's on my radar, is looking for something that's a little more robust. Now, this is not going to be a freaking commercial for those of you guys that are going to cry right away. I'm going to give an honest, actual discussion on pluses and minuses of different designs. And some of the stuff that might work better might be stuff that we're not thinking would work better. For example, I've had some hunting scopes over the years that have fallen out of vehicles at like 50 miles an hour, bounced down the road, got dented, and still didn't lose their zero. We're totally fine. Hunting optics from Kmart, like Simmons, like a pro hunter. I've had Collis, some of the straight fixed power stuff, the old stuff. I've had Weaver. I have an old Weaver K4 scope on my Ruger #1 375 H&H mag, and it's got years on it, lots of years of use, and it's been hunting. I mean, I used that for hunting, believe it or not, on deer as a kid, pardon me, and I'm not unfamiliar with the rugged use of optics. I've also broken dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens, maybe even upwards of 100 of my own tools, just doing normal life. Okay. And during classes, I've seen even more break on the order of hundreds. I've seen every failure possible I would think that a guy would see in a training environment for high-end precision rifle optics, particularly configured for long-range shooting. Okay. A lot of guys are running tactical style scopes or tactical scopes that are actually issued. I myself run a lot of those tools as well because they have a reputation for being robust. So I've run a number of different things over the years with, a whole mix of experiences. So when my friend, who's actually my friend, asked me a question that his life could depend on it, or the life of people that, he's trying to serve and protect, trying to liberate, okay, I have to be 100% dead honest, because if him and his guys are going to switch over to something as an option, I need to make damn sure it's going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try to break some of my stuff. This is my stuff. This was not sent to me to break. Now, I could probably get it replaced after I break it on purpose, but like, it's hard for me to do this kind of testing. So here's my line of thought. Certain outfits actually have to buy their own gear because the stuff that's issued sucks or is inadequate or broke, or they don't have the proper support for it. They can't sustain the equipment sometimes that they're issued. So a lot of guys, especially in higher end outfits that actually get a lot of, time in the field, end up buying their own optics. My mentor, Brother Saw, has bought all sorts of his own gear because Uncle Sam could not keep up with batteries or had, just terrible decisions on the table of equipment end in terms of logistics and, supply chains and all that. He's had to order stuff through his, if I'm okay to share the story, his wife had to send him stuff when he was in combat. He did like 17 or whatever deployments or whatever. I forget how many deployments. He spent most of his married life over in combat, and he was constantly having to get stuff from home that could work. So that's not uncommon. And this is an actual problem that happens where, like, he's used stuff that you wouldn't think that a Green Beret sniper would use. Now, this other friend of mine, he's a younger guy, but he's got a lot of experience in the field, and they need their stuff to work because actual lives depend on it, and they're fighting bad guys. So with that being what he didn't mention, that he didn't need to, but I already know, like, I need to be careful. That being said, the most common failure point is usually the turrets, especially on a long range configured target turret scope with exposed turrets. Okay. I recently did a video, and maybe this is what prompted my friend's question, because he's having the same problem that I put in the video, going through a whole table of different optics and the different turret designs and configurations and how robust they are and how intricate the parts are. I am familiar with a lot of different designs. There's cool designs out there, but like when it comes to combat and exposed target turrets, that stuff is frail. And if it can break, it will break. And I've had a number of things get jammed up, frozen. So I test the scopes in a variety of rugged conditions. I'm pretty familiar with what the failure points are. Usually for an exposed target turret, that's what breaks, especially when you're knocking into stuff on a heavy rifle, especially if it swings or if you put it on and it even falls over. Stuff like that's hard on the scope. So there are a couple different ideas for solutions for my brother who asked me question regarding ruggedness and not breaking scopes. If you can afford to have multiples of the same scope, then you have spares, because you're going to break stuff. Getting multiple Steiner M7s or multiple Collis scopes is beyond most people's pay grade. They can't afford it. It's like impossible. I have two Schmidt and Benders, and that's ridiculous. That's $8,000 between two scopes, and they broke 150% of the time. So we'll see how. I'm going to do a video on the customer service on that. I haven't sent it in yet, but I hope they fix it because in short order. Because last time they did good, it only took them like 2 weeks to fix it, which was pretty darn fast. But when you're talking about what's the solution, you either need something with a way overly stupidly built control group design, where the turret chassis, I got one here. This is a SH-4J. So this is an SH-4 with Japanese glass in it. And you guys have known that it's just an example, right? But this is the control group. When you dial this up, when I pull this turret off, there's the chassis on the inside. Like how that's configured can make a big difference. But you would want something very robust. What are the more robust designs? LOW does a good job in a few of their designs, especially when you look at the larger inner brass post. But I've seen those break too. I have I forget how many sample sizes of that. I've seen maybe upwards of 100 or 200 of those in classes. And in our classes, we do drills where guys are walking, not being crazy by any means, but to where if it'll break from normal use or from adrenaline by turning, like one thing that happens when you're excited is you turn this too hard and it freaking breaks, right? Stuff slips, screws get, there's a number, or you pack it in the vehicle, stuff falls on it, just normal transported use. I've had over a dozen of these that I own. This is the SH series and the prototypes preceding this. And I've only had one have an issue. It was a reticle issue, and it wasn't an issue that affected the operation of the optic. It was in a prototype as well, so it wasn't ever released to the public. I've never seen one of these break yet, but I'm going to try to break one today. Say, this is an SH-J, real nice optic. They're affordable. This is 6 to 24 by 50. I'm going to try to duplicate, because in combat, this is going to be attached to a rifle primarily, right? And if you drop the entire rifle, you got a whole nother problem. You got a little more weight falling on it, potentially, if you drop it upside down. Also, it's not going to hit directly on the ocular or on the objective if it's on a rifle, because the rifle is longer than the optic. So I'm going to try to duplicate this best I can. I'm going to attach this to a 2x6 or 2x8 piece of scrap wood. And that's going to be the rifle. It's approximately the same size and in the same weight range as a light rifle. And we're going to drop this a number of times, and I will test it between drops to see if it's still functioning, to see if it's still clear, and to see if it's still tracking. Okay. So we're going to drop it on the turrets and see what breaks and how much it takes to break it. Because this is a heavy optic, but anything can break. We're going to see what the threshold is. This is actually what I was thinking the solution might actually be. This is the LH series. This is the LH-4. And they come in a 4 to 16 and a 6 to 24. And I'll leave links below to all these different optics. It's a 30 millimeter main tube. It's a bit lighter. It's just as precise, or a little, they both track under a 0.25% error. So it's not even discernible. It's within that realm of like, it seems perfect. And we have covered turrets. This right here, I think, is the option. Now, if this existed on other tactical scopes that were as rugged and have the same features, this has a mil-grid reticle. You have mil first focal plane turrets here, okay? This adjustment mechanism is a lot more light duty than the SH-4. Okay, the SH-4 is a lot bigger and more robust. This has a huge stainless steel drum around it. Okay, so there's the difference right there, if you can see that. So this LH is the Light Hunter. It's a lot lighter. It has a toolless design. So you have the coin deal. You pull that off. Let's look at the inside of one. I'll take off this elevation. So you can see we have the outer turret chassis here, which is coming up quite a bit. So you don't have a lot of vulnerability to the inner post because of the proportions of the inner chassis design, the turret chassis here. And it's surrounded by this metal here. And the turret itself, being toolless, has little teeth on it that correspond to this outer turret, is not really that exposed. And you look at where the teeth are, look at the diameter of the drum though. It's a robust, pretty large brass turret screw. Inside, and that's all one piece. That's not a separate piece. This is all one piece. This is just the teeth where they interface with this part. So it's a pretty large screw that sits in the middle of the large outer chassis. Okay, so that in of itself, even with the exposed turret caps, like if I take the outer scope cap off, so I'm going to put this back on like this, and that's just use your fingers on this, which for soldiers, highly desirable not to need tools, right? So this is a very affordable optic designed for hunters. It's a hunting scope, but hunting also has very rugged design parameters. It needs to be light, it needs to be precise, but it needs to be rugged. This is designed for hunting. It has a smaller turret. It's not a giant, huge tactical style target turret. But as you can see on the inside, the screw is very robust. We have a large chassis around the screw to protect it. And then we have this. This is the key. So when I put that frickin' turret cap on there, by the way, if you guys who are listening who are optics manufacturers have ears to hear me, you need this on any kind of field scope. I don't care. You know, if this had them, if this had turret caps, I would put them on there. You know what I mean? Because that's what breaks. That's the weak point. This is a huge amount of protection. You have it on your windage and your elevation. You still have a relatively low profile. It's not sticking up real heavy. So I think this cheap hunting scope might be the best option when you look at it, because this should be pretty dang tough. I don't think we're going to bend the turrets out of whack on this. Will the lenses pop out? Will something else break? Will this break? Will the parallax? On the side here, we have the illumination knob. This is all sticking out. We're going to see if it breaks. If we can break it, we'll break it. So here's the SH-4J Gen2 6-24x50 before the initiation of the test. We're going to get our control sample here. All right. I got a clarity reading. All right. Hey, little buddy. And dial 10. Perfectly on. Exactly on. Back to 0. It's tracking good. Nothing wrong there. We are on 6 power. I'm going to index this to 10. And get a direct read. Resolution. I am seeing all the way down to 0.89 cycles per millimeter at 25 meters on the T21. Okay, we have the beautiful Mrs. Rex here. She's specially trained to take this optic screwed to a board and throw it on the ground. We're going to do that in just a minute. I'm going to give you a real quick kind of a rundown of what tests we're going to actually be running. So this is the ruggedness evaluation I'm going to do. I already got the baseline. We're reading at 0.89 cycles per centimeter at 25 meters resolution. So we're going to check the resolution after each drop test. What I anticipate to happen, if anything breaks in a drop test, will be a misalignment of a lens. So we're going to drop it on the ground a bunch of times. We got the tracking graduation precision check. We're going to do that at the very end again, but we have an initial check. It is 100% precision right now. It's tracking perfectly. We're seeing clearly, and all these, the parallax ring, the magnification, the illumination, the diopter, the elevation, and the traverse are all functioning. So we're going to do drop test number 1 first. 1 meter drop test. And then we're going to do an optical resolution direct read test. And then we'll check for function on these. 1 meter, go ahead and drop it on the ground. We are still good. We are 0.89. Optical resolution is still 0.89 cycles per millimeter. Let's do a function check. Nothing's bent here, it's all cycling. All right. Parallax. .25, still working. Go. I didn't check the diopter. We'll check that when we're done. Go and go. Diopter. Drop test 2, which will be 2 meters. I want you to hold it up to where it's just barely, yep, right about there. And go ahead and drop it. Ow. All right, so we got a little dirt on it. dropped it what appeared to be right on the elevation turret here. Okay, still perfectly sharp. Check the parallax. See right here. I'm looking through it. Yeah, it's functioning. Got about 25. Oh, still good. Okay, let's check the elevation. Okay, that's good. All right, so this is a 5/16" 16-foot transport binder chain. Yeah, and just set it down. Whoa, careful.
Lost it.
Yep. Right around the middle of it. See what we got left. So here we are. Now we have a screw coming loose. How many screws do we have loose here? One screw loose. 0 stops, still good. This thing is so deep. My glass is perfectly clear. The reticle still perfectly level from where it was mounted last time. So it hasn't changed in degrees. Let's do a tracking test, see if it's still tracking. Crank up to 10. Perfect tracking. Believe it or not, it's perfectly clear with perfect tracking, 0 stop, still functioning fine. Let's do the zoom test. Our magnification works smooth and perfect. All the way up to max power. All the way down to minimum power. We have a nice full stop up and down and all the way up. And like I said, my illumination device did come a little loose from bouncing down the road, but it is still working, believe it or not. This is jammed up. I think there was rock stuck in the screws. So I don't know if this got oblonged or deformed. We can investigate that later. But that's pretty good. I mean, we're still in business. It's still totally functional as a rifle. I mean, it's here. Let me get a picture of it through there, just so now I want you to see. This is in fact the beat one. You see that? This is the one that has been dragged down the road, and I want you to see what I see. Still perfectly clear. Go ahead and crank up the magnification.
Max.
No, it's just my hand trying to get it centered. It's still perfectly clear. So at Rex Reviews, we have Ninja Spacemen hired to scale large buildings. And let's take a look. You want to take a look at what we got so far? So we're going to throw this scope off the roof. What do you think?
Let's do it.
So I want you to pretend like you're shooting it in battle. So simulate battle. And the unthinkable happens. You accidentally drop it. Ooh, that's got a height. Don't do this for tightening your scopes. That would be bad. Perfect resolution. My parallax adjusted a little bit. Parallax still good. Okay. It's perfectly clear after the 30-foot drop test. Let's dial on it. It's going. Dial up to 10. %. Exactly on cue. Return to 0. 0 stop still working. Okay, let's check the magnification ring. Still working. I'm not seeing any kind of blurriness. I don't see any lenses pop loose. Still completely beautiful, sharp. And let me tweak my parallax. Yeah. Parallax is still functioning. Perfect. Nice and smooth operation. My illumination is still loose like it was before. So to make a long story short, we dropped this from 1 meter. Everything's fine. Dropped it from 2 meters, right, and we dropped it right on the turret. Everything's fine. We drug it down the road across hard gravel with the truck, and as if it was attached to a rifle on a 7.7 pound jig. Still tracking perfectly, still perfectly clear. We still have parallax operation. Let's check the diopter now that we've finished the testing. Now, diopter's operating perfectly smoothly. The one thing we lost is our windage. Correction, this is an edit upon mixing the video. I wanted to triple check. I took this cap off, I got out the pliers, I grabbed the inner post, and I cranked it both ways, only to find out this knob was completely spun into the edge of its adjustment range and cranked in a little too far. So I got the pliers, loosened it up, and now we have fully functioning and adjusting windage again. So it did not lose its windage, it just got jammed up on the edge. Bouncing right on. I think this traverse windage knob took the brunt of that drag test. Okay, this is the LH series, and we do have different sunlight here. The sun is now, instead of being directly overhead, it's about 2 o'clock or 1:30. I'm reading at 1 cycle per millimeter, almost. Gosh dang it, I can see clear in this, very clearly. So I'll show you that in a minute, how clearly it's seeing. I'm gonna do my tracking test before we destroy this poor little, beautiful little scope. So right on, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Dead on balls. Okay, the 1 meter drop test on the LH-4. Go ahead and drop it. We have 0.89 to 1 cycle per millimeter. We have no loss in resolution. Parallax is good. Magnification is good. Illumination ring is good. Diopter is good. Elevation is good. Traverse is good. All right, we're mounting this forward a bit so that we don't break the rail, which is bent from our first drop test. Right about there, 1 second. Go ahead. Ooh, that was a solid hit. No loss in optical clarity. Parallax ring is smooth and operational and functioning. Illumination is fine. That's functioning fine. Of course, these will be fine because they are protected, man. All right, let's get really mean to it. I can take that. How's it looking? My parallax did move a little bit. Let me adjust it. Oh, it's adjusting. It's fine. No loss in optical clarity. No wall-eyeing. No vignetting. No loss in optical quality whatsoever. So I took those bounces and drags fine. Let's see how she adjusts over here. If you want to come above it a little bit. Behind me. The parallax ring. Operational and clear and smooth. Let's try this. Our illumination is totally tight and functional. Okay. All right, watch out. I'm gonna check the. This looks like this got some serious dragging. Ooh, she's on there. That was on there pretty tight. It did move a little bit. So it bounced. There was enough bouncing and dragging to where this adjusted. We're going to put this back here. It's operational. And that looks like that's still operational. Let me see if I can get an idea of some moving now. Looks like it's moving normal. Okay. Let's throw it off the roof.
Paper.
Oh no, we might dent it.
Watch the window. The window.
Yeah, well, watch out for the window. Ah! Oh, the window! Oh, hold on a minute, and I'm going to back up.
Am I slow or AJ? Am I slow?
Yeah. All right. He's in battle with the LH-4. He's taking out the enemy at a tremendous rate. And then the worst happens. All right. Well, it's not broken yet, so we need to throw it off the roof again. All right, one more time, dude. Yeah, that'd be funny. Insurance claim. My greenery window broke from a sniper scope on a rappelling line. What? Hoist it up.
Just don't fall off.
Ooh, Okay, now try to hold it upside down. Yep. Drop it right on the turrets if you can.
Ah, that thing must turn with the board.
Yeah. Well, let's look at it. We have the 1 meter drop test. We have the 2 meter drop test. We have the road drag attached to a 7.7 pound jig that simulates the weight and mass of a rifle bouncing on stuff and grinding it in the ground. If you just drag the optic without the mass attached to it, you're not getting the full effect. When you add more weight to it, that's more weight grinding it into the ground. So we are going to do a full function check now. First thing I'm going to look for is the optical clarity, the resolution. Okay, you know, it's a little dusty, but it's not that bad, believe it or not. So I'm looking at the T21 test, and my reticle is, there we go, right in the way a little bit. I'm going to move it. I can read perfectly clearly. The sun is now a full, I'd say 2 o'clock off my right, 15 degrees forward. We have a blue sky, and I am reading 0.89, 1.0 cycles per millimeter, which is what we started off with at the beginning of the test. We have 0 loss in optical acuity, clarity, resolution. I don't see any kind of distortion. I don't see anything around the edges. I don't see any new vignetting. I don't see, I mean, this is a affordable optic, so there's a little bit of that you'll see. Nothing is broken. Nothing is out of whack. Nothing is even slightly optically out of whack or broken. Looking at it on this view, we are on 10 power, although my magnification moved a little bit when we dropped it. I'm going to check the magnification ring. Perfectly smooth. It's going in and out, no problems, all the way to the bottom. What I did, there is a little bit of road dust in what I think is in the seam here. I can hear it grinding, but it's smooth. So it's, the seals are still good. I can feel the grease, the smooth, slippery grease on the seals, but a little bit of road grit. It's working its way out as I turn it. So there is gravel stuck in the cracks, but it's coming out. And so it's operating like it's new. The magnification ring is totally fine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to check my tracking. So we have the turret cap here. A little bit of road wear on it. There's a little bit of dust underneath there. Okay, but we're good. I'm going to get that all situated. I'm going to get this zeroed. What magnification am I on right now? I'm on about 15 power. That'll work. Okay, so I'm at 0. I'm going to index 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mils. Dead on balls accurate. That's 2 drops at 30 feet off the roof. And because of our turret caps, that feature right there saved our butts. And this thing got shredded. You can see there's grass stuck into it from the drop test. Everything there is working perfectly fine. We did a tracking test laterally and vertically, and we have absolutely no problems with function. Everything on this optic, the LH series, 1 meter drop test, 2 meter drop test, drag test on a 7.7 pound jig, and then 2 drop tests from 10 meters from a roof, trying to aim for the turrets, and everything is perfectly clear and operational. We had a tiny bit of gravel stuck inside the magnification ring seam, so it was a little grindy for the first 3 or 4 turns of it. I thought maybe something came loose, but it's butter smooth now. Look at this. The gravel worked its way out of there. So let's freaking tough optic. So is this tough enough for field use? I think so. Probably. You want to grab that SH from over there, sweetheart, real quick? Thank you for helping me with the tools. This SH series did surprisingly well in terms of we didn't have any lenses or any optical stuff come loose. You can see that it did drag for quite a while on the road on this side as well as on this side, and that knocked our illumination. See how this protrudes out quite a bit more, and there's a bit more weight on it. So your footprint and how far these things stick out is kind of a deal. It's still working though. The battery cap's still on. The battery cap did fall off. We found it and screwed it back on, but the switch is still working. It's just loose. So I don't know if there's a ring or a washer or something that a guy would need to put in there. Our parallax, look at that. Parallax is perfectly smooth, and it still tracks. So when I say the elevation turrets, the 0 stop, that's, it's tough. So the rugged part remains, the precision part remains. However, I did lose the ability to adjust my elevation, or excuse me, my traverse on the SH because of an exposed cap bouncing down the highway with the weight on it did jam something up. I don't know if you can see the road marks, but we'll figure it out. But nothing came loose in here. The lenses, the glass, all good. This would still shoot fine, and it didn't adjust our windage. So if I was in a still needed to use it, I still have my reticle to hold off. So this is still functional. So which one would I use? I'll tell you what, I'm running the LH right now on my Daniel Defense 6.5 Creedmoor DD5. So that's what I'm running on here. These are great for target rifles, but who, besides like airborne guys, is gonna skid across thousands of feet of hard gravel or a tarmac? You know what I mean? Are you going to do that? If so, then get the LH series. So if you're like a paratrooper, get the LH series. If you plan to like take, you know, if you're gonna get drug across stuff, if you're like a normal guy, this probably would still be fine. Okay, so for whatever it's worth, I just, gosh darn it, I hate to say, oh yes, it's so rugged, without actually trying to break the sucker. So we tried to break it. Ooh, that was a solid hit. I could throw it off the top of the barn, the barn is higher than my grain bin, I guess, so, or the barn is higher than my granary, but maybe we'll take it up in a UAV and drop it from hundreds of feet or something, right? But I wanted to share that with you guys. But when it comes down to the wire, any optic is a fragile, weak point of the system. This is a delicate instrument. So the fact that they even work at all, to me, after what I just did to them, is kind of impressive. The LH 100% still functional, and the SH still combat effective. So I don't know. What do you guys think? They fared way better. I've done stuff like this with the SWFA years ago. These are tougher. Those had lenses pop loose from smaller drops. So pretty darn tough. Do I want to do that with all my optics in my collection? I do not. If you want me to do that, then send a giant donation set aside for that particular project. Rex, I want you to throw a March optic off your roof multiple times and drag it down the road. I'll buy one with, I'm not going to pay it for it myself. I got to feed my kids. But I can do this to verify and put my money where my mouth is. You think they'll take a customer return? Do not do that to them, okay? I'm not going to do it to them. I'm not going to return it because that's ridiculous what I just did. This one, I don't need to return it. I can still run this scope. For the price that these are, I know that if you guys want to grab these and have backups, I would grab at least 4 for me. Like if it was me, and because you want primary, alternate, contingency, emergency. But like at the price you can afford that, they are going to go up in price, guys, because of tariffs. And then even if that gets fixed, they're still going to go up in price because they're way underpriced. So I would grab one. They're still like under $300. First focal plane, variable optic, mil configuration, turret caps, illumination, parallax, tough as hell. I would absolutely grab a few of these while they're still available. I don't know if they're going to ship more or what. I think they still will. It's just going to cost more. So if you do want to grab some of these bad boys, this is the one that Brother Saw, my mentor, who's a Green Beret sniper for years, been in the SOF community for over 3 decades. He's running several of these up in the mountains, carrying them, you know, everyday carry kind of deal, putting them on all sorts of stuff, trying them with different configurations of sights. And he's using the rigid mounts. He really likes those. And if for more information from his channel and his observations, you can check that out. But I'll corroborate. They're clear, they're precise, they're really damn tough, they're affordable, and they're configured in a way that's highly useful, especially with the mil reticle and the mil scale, you know, the mil scale reticle, the mil grid reticle, the VPR is what they call it. So I'll leave links below. If you guys please use the REX code, that'll kind of keep track of stuff. Also, you should, whatever the current best available deal is online, whether that be percentage discount, or I think right now with all the tariffs, they're giving free shipping, but they can't afford the discounts at the moment. But use the code REX for perpetuity going into the future. If there's ever by the time you view this, whatever the best deal is for these scopes at the time, that REX code will give you the best deal available anywhere that you can find online. So that's just a fail-safe way to make sure you get the best deal that's out there, okay? And so use that code. Of course, it supports the channel, and thank you for your support. But moreover, I need to be able to afford to this one. I'm not going to be able to use this probably anymore unless I'm going to try to fix that windage, and I'll report if I do. But this one's still usable, but it's hard to do that because I love these tools and I'm trained to take care of stuff and be nice to optics. But for whatever it's worth, they can handle some abuse. Rex out. Okay, now with your heel on the front end, straight down, if you can. Try to shift weight onto it. Try to stand on it. You got most of your weight on it?
Yep.
Is it moving? So one thing that did happen, it did bend the ocular on the Optic a bit. So depending on how bad you drop it on the ocular, you might have to adjust a bit more up and down or try to straighten it out. It's lifting the tractor off the ground a little. You know what I mean? The tires ain't off the ground yet, but suspension coming up. Just put weight on it. A little more maybe?
Yeah.
Or I could just go, I could just push down, straight down.
Okay.
So do you see a little stretching in the finish on the backside there? Where she's stretching.
Whoa! Ah!
But if we JB welded that back on, because right, tell them what you just saw. Can you see through it when you put the two halves together?
Yes, it's perfect.
Is it really?
Yep.
So here, show that as two pieces. Okay. Now put it together, and I'll get behind it. Aim at those trees out there. Hold on. All right. We have to do the resolution test.
Dude, yeah.
Let's go out and do it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so this is not mating up so good because this is an oval and this is a circle. Hey guys, Rex here. We were able to glue this LH-4 back together. It was broken in half with the tractor. It is now glued together. I wasn't able to get 100% nitrogen in there. This time, only 78%. However, I'm going to check for optical clarity. I'm set at 8 power right now. And I'm not seeing the full 0.89 cycles per millimeter through the glass. But I can see what was it, 79? 0.79 cycles per millimeter. I can read that on the chart. If I go above 8 power, 10, still pretty good. Once I get above 10, the reticle's beautiful, but it's a little blurry above 8. But 8, it's almost perfect optical quality for whatever reason. Can work out the math and figure out why. I want to do a tracking test. So we're going to take this down. So can the scope still be made to work in the midst of battle is the question. Okay, I'm going to get that zeroed right there. Okay. Actually, let's dial it back down to 0. Let's adjust it from there. Okay, so I'm on 0, and I'm right on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It still tracks after it's been broken half. Now, of course, the brake was up front, so it didn't really mess with our control group. So of course it would track. But we're going to see what she looks like through here. It's still pretty gosh darn clear at lower powers. So we're in 8 power right now. You guys get the idea, right? I'm still seeing through the optic. I still see the reticle. It's still tracking. It could still work if you needed it to. Now, you could reinforce that with some 100-mile-an-hour tape, but you get the idea. Now, why is this relevant? Well, in an actual situation Maybe that's good to know. Rex out.